Traditionally, education has been about educating for the known. It's about what we knew, and let's have you know it too. But today, more than ever before, we have to worry about educating for the unknown. It's ever more important today, for instance, that people become nimble learners. Because over and over again, on many fronts throughout their lives, they're going to have to learn and relearn and learn beyond what they already know. And if there's one thing for sure that means, it means understanding. You see, the thing about understanding is it's inherently flexible. If I know X, Y, and Z, and I just know it, well, what am I going to do when somebody puts problem Q in front of me? But if I understand X, Y, and Z, and somebody says problem Q, then I can say, well, what does that have to do with X, Y, and Z? Oh, I see a connection. I can extract some principles from X, Y, and Z, and you know what? They're relevant to Q. Understanding is inherently more general than just knowing stuff. It has stretch, it has reach, it has leverage. That's why understanding big, important, powerful, central things becomes a central part of educating for the unknown.
In a lot of places in the US these days, better learning means scoring better on the test. And that kind of backs teachers into a corner of drilling kids on the facts, formulas, specific knowledge that they're going to need to fill in the blanks. At the same time, in the back of their minds and in the minds of lots of parents and school leaders is the question of what do we really want our kids to understand, and really helping to raise kids who will be prepared to lead the world in the 21st century.
You can take a text, you can commit it to memory, and yes, you can reproduce it during a test. But when you ask certain questions about certain concepts, and you find that the students aren't really able to elaborate on that. And that really tells you that, okay, they know this topic, but they don't really understand it.
I'm ashamed to say that my students' work in the past has largely been my thought regurgitated. Sometimes very articulately, sometimes with a few more feathers to decorate it, but it's largely been what I guided them to. And it's largely then been boring because I already knew it. I already said it, I already rehearsed it, and I've known it for years. So after taking that TFU course, my students' work is broader because they bring to me topics I'd never considered before. And after TFU, they've also brought a deeper discourse about literature. So they've taken those issues and wrestled with them with their peers to really present some substantial understanding.
It's a very different way of thinking about things, much for the better for all of us.
And we used to teach, it was like, okay, here's the unit. We make up our study guide questions. We don't ask the students what the questions are. And at the end, we have a test.
And we tried to be very thoughtful about what we did.
We sure
and I think
did.
we did it well, but now I think we have a different perspective on things.
We do.
We've learned more about intelligence and cognition and learning and how things should be done, and we're sharing more, and it's working. You know, I feel very fortunate to have been involved in all of this.